Have you ever held onto a secret so big, so deeply personal, that even the people closest to you couldn't know? What if that secret wasn't just about you, but about something powerful enough to shake the entire world? Well, Kim Taehyung V of BTS did exactly that. For years there was something he buried, not just figuratively, but in the most literal way possible. And now, it's finally been uncovered. Today we're going to peel back every layer of this emotional mystery. And when you hear the truth, you'll never see Taehyung or HYBE the same way again. Before we dive in, take a moment to subscribe, because the story you're about to hear isn't just gossip, it's the untold truth. Chapter 1. The unshakable calm before the storm. When you look at Taehyung, there's always this calm in his eyes. It's not an empty calm. It's the kind of stillness that comes from someone who's learned to carry his storms quietly. Fans have always known V as the soulful singer with a deep voice, the man who can turn a stage into a painting. But behind those perfectly curated performances, there was something he couldn't share. Back in 2021, HYBE was undergoing massive changes. Internal restructures, global expansions, and a shift in how BTS would be managed. Behind closed doors there were whispers about decisions, about creative freedom, about control. For Taehyung, it wasn't just about contracts or schedules. It was about something personal, something worth protecting at all costs. The night everything changed. It was during one late night at HYBE's headquarters. The building was almost empty, just a few lights flickering in the recording studio hallway. Taehyung had been there for hours, not for practice, but for a meeting. A meeting that left him looking pale, restless, and almost defeated. That night, witnesses say he left carrying a small, locked case. No one knew what was inside. No one dared to ask. But instead of heading straight home, he disappeared. The next day, when he showed up at a scheduled shoot, there was no trace of what had happened. He smiled, joked, and sang like nothing was wrong. But something had shifted. The buried truth. Weeks later, a friend of Taehyung's from his hometown in Daegu noticed something strange. Taehyung had made a quiet visit. No fanfare, no media. Just him, a simple jacket, and a determined look. He had asked his friend to take him somewhere secluded, somewhere with no cameras, no eyes. They ended up in an old field near the riverbank, one they used to play around as kids. And there, Taehyung dug a hole. Inside that small lock case he placed something. He didn't speak much, only saying, "Some things are safer here for now." The friend swore never to tell anyone. But even promises have cracks when curiosity grows. The HYBE connection. Fast forward to 2023. Rumors began spreading online. Fans noticed that certain BTS archival videos and behind-the-scenes clips were suddenly disappearing from HYBE's official channels. Whispers grew louder. Was something being erased? When the friend finally hinted about that buried case, theories exploded. Some believed it held unreleased music. Others thought it contained personal letters, diaries, or confidential documents HYBE didn't want public. But the most intriguing theory, that it contained evidence, proof of a dispute between Taehyung and certain executives during a turning point in BTS's career. The discovery. In early 2025, heavy rains hit Daegu. The river near Taehyung's old field flooded, washing away parts of the bank. Locals found a rusted, half-buried case sticking out from the mud. By the time the friend arrived, it had already been spotted by a group of young army who immediately recognized the initials carved faintly on the side. KTH. What was inside was never shown publicly, but the whispers from those who peeked were enough to light a fire online. Chapter 6. The contents. From what insiders have pieced together, the case contained a leather-bound journal filled with Taehyung's personal reflections about his years at HYBE, both the beautiful moments and the deep struggles, handwritten lyrics for unreleased songs, some with emotional notes about freedom, fear, and trust, a sealed envelope with a recording, allegedly a conversation between Taehyung and a high-ranking HYBE figure, discussing creative independence. If true, this wasn't just sentimental, it was explosive. The emotional impact. When news of the discovery reached Taehyung, sources say he didn't react with anger, just quiet acceptance. Almost as if he knew this day would come. In a private gathering with friends, he was overheard saying, "I buried it because I needed to protect my peace. If it's out now, maybe the world was meant to see it." Fans began trending hashtags like #VTruth and #TaehyungFreedom, showing overwhelming support. They didn't care about the politics, they cared about him, the artist, the man. HYBE's silence. HYBE released no official statement. No denials, no confirmations, just silence. And sometimes silence says more than words. Industry insiders speculated that the lack of response was strategic, acknowledging it could mean legal issues, denying it could anger millions of fans. So HYBE chose the one thing that would keep the fire burning. Nothing at all. What this means for Taehyung. This wasn't just about a buried case. It was about an artist's fight to keep a part of himself untouched by the industry. Taehyung has always been the member who values artistic authenticity over commercial pressure. And if this story proves anything, it's that he's willing to risk misunderstanding, rumors, and even conflict to protect what matters most to him. The legacy of the buried secret. Now, the world sees him not just as a global superstar, but as a man who chose to shield a piece of his soul until the right moment. Maybe we'll never know everything that was inside that case. Maybe we're not supposed to. But one thing is certain. This wasn't the act of someone hiding from the truth. It was the act of someone waiting for the right time to share it. And when that time came, the world listened. So what about you? If you had something so precious, so personal, would you bury it or let the world see it? This is the story of Kim Taehyung's buried truth, and the moment it finally saw the light. If this story moved you, don't just scroll away, hit that subscribe button. Because here we go beyond the headlines. We tell the stories that matter. And somewhere out there, another truth is